Well, live streams have been removed. That's good. Hello. My name is Marcus. I'm here as a individual willing to give my knowledge of certain things that are of spiritual nature or even just psychological nature or anything in between. It's been a long time. It's been a really long time. And unfortunately, YouTube has decided at some point to deny people the ability to do live streaming unless they're up to par with something. So hopefully people are still able to see this and everybody gets the notifications. But beyond that, there has been a lot that was going on. So I haven't really made live streams or really worked my way through any communities, especially communities that I'm used to or that I've been a part of. And I guess it's just been healing, lots and lots of healing, lots of self-healing and recognition of certain things. I guess more open to the feeling aspect of understanding what one is truly capable of and what one is truly able to accomplish when allowed to finally understand all that deep-seated feeling ever since the retrograde passed. It's been really easy to tap into what you're feeling and allowing that to adjust yourself on the inside. Because the entire process of being here as a human being is to excel at what it means to be human. The process isn't about the ends that you meet through whatever means. It's about the experience of being here and living your life and making yourself one with the whole, rather than just being one with the whole right off the bat. And one of those processes is understanding what the difference is between light beings and false lights. And since no one's ever talked about what that is and what that means, it basically means that due to certain processes and certain understandings that you have on the inside, you can be used in a way to be the front man for an entity or a process that you go through to become a tool to the spiritual community, which is usually like New Age stuff, demons, spirits. For some reason, a really common one is angels or other religions or entities that come from different religions or ideas that have been passed down. They can become dark or they can become misleading, mischievous, and capable of thwarting your greater plans and ideals. And due to this, a lot of people don't realize the difference between a true light entity and a true dark entity, or a false light, in other words. False lights will give you the impression that you're powerful as long as they are using you. And as long as they are using you, you'll never really truly be free of their influence unless you realize that you have the power without them, which is the idea of you being able to bless water, or you being able to bless yourself and find your own way of doing things. And through this process, you actually become free from any entity that would use you, because in your own way, you're no longer allowing others to use you. So in a lot of ways, you gotta open up to who you really are in some aspects before asking for guides, but everybody has guides and things that allow them to go on the spiritual path. Even misleading lights, false lights, can guide you in the right direction. And I mean, it's just like any idol or any being, human or otherwise, that becomes your role model, but you don't realize that this so-called role model is a fake or a liar or a cheat or a scammer, but you learn so much from them up until you learn the truth about them by them backstabbing you or having you do something that you wouldn't really do. But because you've known this person for so long and you trust them, then they're able to more or less damage what reputation they have in your eyes and in the eyes of others. So there's always some means in which things take their toll. So big names is another one. If you're used to the name Jesus or used to the name Buddha or any large name where you don't really speak of the actual real character behind it, because all of them started out as individuals. It hardly matters who it is and what level of godhood they've reached. That's only after due process. They're basically the ancestors to this race. They're the masters prior to the masters, or they were individuals that through spiritual means took a test. Earth realm is basically a test. You're here to see if you can get along with yourself, and through getting along with yourself by giving back, through process of allowing, you become more than just the vessel. You become more than just the body. You become more than just human. You become the conduit from which God or Source is able to speak through you, through what you create, through what you make with words, to body motion, to everything you do is expression of creation. You're always creating, regardless of what it is. So that also goes for false lights as well. The main reason why they exist is to show you that you can ask outside help, but never always rely on it. Because when you allow yourself to rely on something a little too much, it becomes a crutch rather than a supporting device. Just like anything, if you medicate yourself, you're always going to be medicating on something rather than on the nothing, and allowing yourself to become comfortable with the idea that you can exist without something. It's like you can get addicted to any product, it doesn't matter. You can get addicted to breathing if you find a way to make yourself feel high all the time, and you don't use it for any other reason other than to feel that high. And anybody will do anything to get away from the lows. But the lows is where you learn a lot. Lows is where you become more aware of all the things that you are doing that creates the problems that manifest in life around you. And in contrast, of course, life happens to abundantly gift you with the things that you are focused on. So it all depends on where your focus is. Whenever I think of a item like Jesus, I usually think of his actual name, Yeshua, or just think of his presence or his energy, or imagine it rather than think. Imagine it and feel it. I've been able to talk to him several times, or it, or more like his energy has no gender, or do masters. Masters realize that there is only one existence. Duality is the illusion. You are one with everything, and everything is one with you. And I've talked to him several times. And I'll just say him for the sake of convenience. But yeah, that energy, that presence is still around. The masters never truly leave. They only change form, and then they teach you through experiences and other things. And if you contact them, then they contact you, and you'll know when they contact you, because there's a huge difference between false lights and real lights. And lights never ask really much of you other than continue doing what you're doing. And false lights will help you, but through their own way, they're gaining something from it all the time. Whether it's energy, oh, I want you to pray to me. I want you to pray for me. Oh, I want you to do something specific. I want you to get totally wasted and then scream and cry. That's what I want you to do. that in its own way is drawing on that negative energy, because when you're on an intoxicant like alcohol, you're expelling that negative. You're allowing everything that you've kept hidden to come out. And that's more or less how false lights work. They usually use that desire to be manipulated, or that powerlessness within you to have you commit to something that isn't yourself. It's outside of you all the time. It's never you. And yeah, usually they're just mischievous. Some of them can be downright dangerous. People who hear voices tend to have a dark entity that usually berates them or talks down to them or treats them terribly vocally, because it's the only way they're able to communicate on that level. And they'll basically use you as long as you're willing to listen to them. But when you're willing to listen to yourself and start doing things your way, then they leave you, and they'll leave you alone. It's another thing. Just because it's been there your entire life doesn't mean that it's the real thing. It's the real part of you. So that's always something to take away. And just because it's in our religion doesn't make it right, because there can be countless things in religion, but you'll always find at least one or two things that don't make sense. And usually that's where you should ask the most questions, because they'll unravel everything else that you believed in. And it's alright to lose something that you believe in and to question it, because questioning is the best course of action for anything. It's never to blindly believe in anything, because that's how wars start, that's how religious sects start, that's how pain and anguish for years have been started, is through other people being on high and having a say and everybody else just believing what they're saying. You can never just take someone at their word. You have to feel it. You have to know it. You have to know them. To anyone watching this video, and to anyone who will be watching this video in the future, and to me, who will most likely watch this, it's been a while, but may you be in good health. May the love you find be abundant, and may you be abundant and loved, and be the very embodiment of your best self at all times. Life can be uncertain, but through uncertainty you can find many things that are to your betterment. Be alright with being uncomfortable, and you too will find a way to commit to things that make you happy, that bring joy into your life, and love. And those two things, along with happiness, are the most important things that could ever come your way, because respect comes from self-respect, and confidence comes from having that will to know that you're important. And everybody deserves to know that they're important, and you are important. You're here for a reason. You find videos for a reason. You find community for a reason. It's because you need it, and it needs you just as much. So it's never just one-sided, regardless of what it is, good or bad, because it's all here. As long as you're alive and you're able to learn from it, whatever it is, then you've come to the right place. And that's here. So take care. And may the light find you, regardless of where the darkness is, no matter how deep the pain is. May you know that there is always a light that shines bright in the darkness. Even more so when it has always been absent of light. And that's where you're needed, because you are the light.